Afternoon world, it's Friday, it's the 30th of August 2019. This is my global forecast and my global astrological forecast for the month of September 2019. I'm going to be looking at the movements of each of the outer planets, the patterns they're making, the way those patterns correlate with the movement of the inner planets, looking at the specific birthdays for who's being affected, and give my interpretation of how I see what's coming up over the coming month as affecting us all. So let's start with Pluto. Pluto is standing still at 20 degrees of Capricorn. Now this is directly impacting on the lives of those people born around the 10th, 11th, 12th of January and the 12th, 13th, 14th of July, as well as those people born also around the 10th, 11th of April and the 13th, 14th of October. All of these people are being Plutoed in a big way. There's a great deal of ongoing transformation, forced regeneration, death and rebirth experiences, a lot of purging and detoxing, and this is all now at the end of phase 2 of a 3-phase process. Pluto is standing still at the very end of this coming month, and it will start moving forwards again. So the last 4 or 5 months of reassessment, reevaluation and retrospect are going to be drawing to a close at the end of September, and from October onwards there will be actions. Neptune is still retrograde and will be for a few months yet. Neptune is now at 16-17 degrees of Pisces. Refer to my video of a couple of days ago around Jupiter and Neptune to get an idea of whose birthdays are being affected. Uranus is also retrograde, currently at 6 and moving backwards into 5 degrees of Taurus. Everyone born in early Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio. Yeah, you've been hammered both this year and last, and this is still going on. There's a lot of compressed and concentrated change happening around you. It's not the easiest of times, but change can equally be as stimulating, innovative, original, exciting, fun and adventurous as it can be crisis-strewn, traumatic and dramatic. Saturn is about to stop going retrograde. Saturn will stop going retrograde on the 18th of September and starts moving forward again. It is standing still at 13-14 degrees of Capricorn, particularly affecting at the moment those people born around the 4th, 5th of January, the 4th, 5th of April, the 5th, 6th, 7th of July and the 7th, 8th of October. If you're one of these people, then you have no option at the moment but to step back from the mainstream, to step back from the coalface, to become more detached, impersonal, objective, more isolated, and hopefully do a fair bit of pruning, weeding, detoxing, clearing your address book, clearing your computer files, throwing away loads of clothes and books and papers in a way that is not about loss, but is instead not just clearing the deck so that the future can come in without having to negotiate old baggage, but also decluttering. Really good word for Saturn at the moment. We're brewing now for the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, which will happen in January of this coming 2020. But looking beyond that, in 2021, Saturn will be squaring Uranus from Aquarius to Taurus, and that's going to create a lot of stress around the need for structure and order in the old world versus the need for change in the new. So there's ongoing conflict in 2021. In 2022, Saturn will move into late Aquarius, where it's not doing anyone any harm. In 2023, Saturn will move into Pisces, and then in 2024 healthily in Pisces, and then as we get towards the middle of 2025 through to the start of 2026, there is a Saturn-Neptune conjunction at the 29 degrees of Pisces and 0-1 degree of Aries at the very start of the zodiac. And it seems to me that if Saturn Pluto in 2020 represents the peak of the collapse of the old ways, with the death gas pump coming in 2021, then 2025-26 represents the true birth of the new paradigm. And I don't want to get too optimistic, but I'm pinning a lot of hopes on 2025 and 2026 as the start of a whole new cycle. I can't think of when the last time Saturn and Neptune was conjunct was in, I think it was 1989, but that was in the middle of Capricorn. The last time Saturn and Neptune would have been conjunct at 0 degrees of Aries, I can't think it would have been so long back. I doubt if there's ever been a time like this in modern history, not for quite a long time, probably a millennia or so. I'm sure some bright spark will tell me. But back in September 2019, Saturn is standing still and getting ready to move forward in Capricorn. Jupiter is moving forward in September in Sagittarius. It will be squaring Neptune for the final time in about 6 to 7 years. So for many people, by the time we're into the end of September, reality is going to be biting. There's a difference between dealing with the world as being the way you want it to be and dealing with the world the way it really is. Now, at the inner planetary level, yes, the sun's in Virgo most of the month, and we start the month. I'm recording this on the 30th of August, fractionally after the new moon. The new moon was about an hour ago from the time I'm recording this. So on the 30th and 31st of August, we've got the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, all in Virgo, all trining Uranus, which is a really nice aspect. As we get into the start of September, so the moon leaves Virgo, Mercury will continue in Virgo along with Venus, both leaving Virgo on the 14th of September, both moving into Libra, where they will spend the rest of the month. I suppose there's a minor influence here in that Mercury likes being in Virgo but not that much in Libra, while Venus loves being in Libra but not that much in Virgo. So I do expect a bit of a shift in the personal energy patterns for a lot of people literally around the 14th of September. Things may start getting easier. It is also around this time, just after this time, around the 21st, 22nd of September, when both Saturn starts going forward. This is on the 18th, 19th, and the Jupiter-Neptune square finishes around the 21st, 22nd. So in this middle 10 days, this third week of November, 14th to the 22nd, I do anticipate a lot of shifting of positions, shifting of patterns in the world. Mars is going to be in Virgo all month. And during this time, Mars starts the month trining Uranus, lovely. Then it goes on to trine Saturn, fine. Later in the month it will trine Pluto, fine. But it will also square Jupiter and square and oppose Neptune. And this is going to become precise over the period of the 13th to the 16th of September. So it seems to me, of all the other things going on in the third week of September as well, that if there's going to be any sort of big dramas, then this is when it's going to happen. I would guess that the 13th to the 18th of September is the pretty critical time. Now, this is compounded by the movement of the moons, and it's not just the moons in September. The new moon today, at the end of August, is trining Uranus. The new moon on the 28th of September at 5 degrees of Libra will be in conjuncting Uranus very strongly indeed, and that's going to be like two bits of sandpaper running up against each other. And the new moon on the 28th of October will be opposite Uranus by about 1/10 of 1 degree. So there's going to be a lot of change over this next 2 or 3 months, couple of months. The full moon in Pisces on the 14th of September is not that far away from Neptune at all. It's about 3 or 4 degrees away. It's halfway between conjuncting Neptune and sextiling Pluto. So I don't view this as a negative full moon, but it is going to affect a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of weird intuitions, dreams, imaginations, visions around this time. It's a bit of a crazy full moon. And the full moon on the 13th of October is almost precisely square Pluto in the sky. So regardless of what country you're in and whatever particular domestic, political, economic status your country is in, you can be sure that over the next couple of months there's quite a degree of unpredictability, change, volatility, semi-madness, and it is going to affect everybody regardless of their wealth, their status, their occupation, their position. And the sensible people will not be making any type of rash decisions. I find it interesting in my country that when Theresa May announced that come what may, Britain would be leaving Europe on the 29th of March, she didn't know that Mercury would be going retrograde on the 29th of March. Now Boris Johnson is saying unequivocally Britain will leave Europe on the 31st of October. On the 31st of October, Mercury goes retrograde. We live in crazy times. And I have to say that this coming month, and particularly September and October, at the daily level, there is a low level energy that can be easily misinterpreted as panic-stricken and all that, and unpredictable, and no safety nets. But you know, as we move forward into November and December, and Saturn begins to get closer and closer to Pluto, and Jupiter begins to leave Sagittarius and move into Capricorn, so options are going to become clearer. Pathways may not be easier, but they will become clearer. Sometimes it's the curse of the astrologer to have to say things that people don't want to hear, as many of my clients know. But then, as also many of my clients know, occasionally I surprise them all by saying, hey, you're in for a really good year. Some people will benefit and thrive over the next couple of months, others will not. That's the nature of things. But also, remember, one of the very oldest dictums of astrology of all is that the planets impel, they don't compel. I am not one of those astrologers that deals with fate or destiny. I'm firmly in the camp of free will, and I believe we all have self-determined choice, and we can all choose to see the world the way we want. So if you choose to be angry and upset with the world, then that's how your world will be. And if you choose, as I do, to recognise that the world's going bonkers, then hopefully you're sane and intelligent enough to look back and laugh and realise it's not always going to be like this. At the end of the day, one planet, 7.5 billion different worlds. You're responsible, we're all responsible for our own perception. On that note, catch you later, world. Catch you tomorrow or the next day. Bye now.